if you listen to the Kind of Blue album, which most people have, even people that aren't into jazz have listened to Kind of Blue or have heard it, you know, and so that's pretty much the moment for everybody.
I was listening to him do stuff like Sketches in Spain, Tutu, which is like so far removed from Sketches in Spain. Just said, wow, listen to that. There was a radio station in LA that was playing fusion, and I was getting introduced to fusion and hearing him do Tutu, and then his adaptation of Michael Jackson's Human Nature. I said, listen at him. It's not pop. They call it jazz, but it's somewhere in between there. And I was digging the fact that he was innovative enough to hear the possibilities.
When he did Silent Way and when he did Bitches Brew, those albums turned the course of music, I think. He raised the innovators up. Like Coltrane, there was John McLaughlin, there was Keith Jarrett, there was in the Miles Davis Band. There were, I think, Chick Corea was in the Miles Davis Band.
That's cool, huh?
I really like So What. I like the simplicity of So What. And also the thing that got me about Miles was not so much just his playing, but his attitude and the way he just approached music. You know, it was just that presence that he had when he walked on stage was just amazing. You know, just incredible.
His swagger, you know, I love the swagger of Miles Davis. One of he once said something about music and life is more about style, and that taught me a lot. It wasn't just about how I sound as I play it, but it was about my swagger and my style as I play what I play, you know.
As a musician, and just as anybody, you can get comfortable, so let ourselves get typecast and stay there. Miles was unwilling to do that. You know, he had all kind of attitude. He beat up people and cuss them out and never apologized for being Miles, and I love that about him.
It was unapologetic, you know. He didn't make any apologies for stepping over boundaries, you know. Personally too, as from what I've heard.
Anyone who wants to start listening to jazz music, it's kind of necessary to at least listen to some Miles Davis stuff because he was such an integral part of the evolution of jazz. Because everyone before him was playing bebop, which is playing a whole lot of notes really fast, a lot of 16th notes.
Before, music had a lot of stuff going on all the time, but he opened up the spectrum.
We were listening to Bird and we were listening to Coltrane, who had so much to say. And Miles on the other side of that was like, hear what I'm not saying.
I think what I picked up from Miles was, I think, things that he didn't do to make a particular feel come across. Like, you know, just incorporating the electric bass into the jazz. There was no way some bass player wasn't going to come up and pluck on the G string somewhere and he go, hey, yeah, do that again.
And the way he would blow his horn, you know, and then go in and then let all that silence come through before he decided to come in. People are like, well, when is he going to say something? You know, but just be patient.
Miles did a lot of stuff where instead of writing everything down, he had the band come and instead of rehearsing them, had them play. And play whatever came in your mind, and then he would make it come together.
What they get to leave out, instead of a complete walk of a scale, they get to hit 2 notes and keep coming back to those 2 notes.
And he was like, okay, here's the charts, play within that. This is what we're gonna do right here. You can do anything you want, but it has to be within the bones of this scope right here.
Like that forbidden thing to do in jazz, well, he did it, you know, and made it work. So all the other musicians get to go, okay, well, if he did it, I can try it.
The thing about Miles Davis for me that I liked, he knew how to really build melodically and really build the song rather than some people really aggressively would approach the song from the very beginning. Miles would kind of set it up, set the stage up, almost like telling a story, you know, and he would work his way up to the climax of the song and each, almost as if he was playing in movements, you know.
He can try to catch up, but I doubt if anybody will ever say, okay, I've mastered what he was doing, you know. I figured out exactly what he was doing because it was always changing, you know.
You know, the way he heard it, that's the way he probably meant for other people to hear it. So it's good. As far as Miles Davis's music, it's so subtle and mellow that to be able to hear all the little nuances and every part of the sound would be a good thing to be able to do.
There's a clarity in the way that an instrument is approached. And if you don't have the fidelity, if you don't have the cleanness and clearness of sound, then you can't hear the technique that goes into the notes that are being played. You can't hear the subtle nuances.
A guy like Miles, I'm sure he was all about the details and the little things that you might not naturally hear, or as a painter that you might not naturally see.
Me, it's like what I hear, I'll try to get that to come across as much as possible because I want them to feel as much as possible what I'm feeling while I'm playing, you know.
He would play one note and that note would sing as opposed to playing a bunch of notes that went by really fast. It would be just one note. And that one note had so much flavor to it that if you didn't hear it well, you would just hear the note and not the flavor that went into the note.